Good morning, everybody. Hope you're doing fantastically well. It is Connor here, and we are back with the Rumour. I hope you get your coffee, your tea, your wine, wherever, whenever you are in this beautiful place that we call planet Earth. And we've got rumours on the mill today. We've got things to talk about on the mill. But before we get started, if you wouldn't mind liking the video, subscribe as well. There's 44.4% of you who aren't subscribed, and I just will not take that. So if you do me a favour and just hit the subscribe and like button, it really helps me out. So what have you got this morning? Have you got coffee? Have you got tea? Bit of a rough one this morning, guys. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm feeling it a bit. I'm feeling it a bit. What time we're recording? 6:10. Feeling a bit edgy, but we've got the rumours on the mill for you today, and there's some opinions that I want to get, to get your opinions. So get your comments in the section below, as I always want you to do. So where should we start? Rafinha spoke to UOL Sport yesterday, and essentially he was asked a question about Manchester United. He was asked a question about Liverpool's interest, how he feels about that. Is there going to be any change in his Leeds United status, being a Leeds United player? And he had a message. It's difficult to define how I feel when I hear greats like Liverpool and Man United, but he's right, are interested in signing me. And today, I'm making people happy with my football. I'm not only talking about other clubs, but Leeds, who did bet on me, which is true. We did make the bet. You didn't see any of the other big boys making bets on him, did you? I have a contract for another 4 years, and I don't even think about leaving here. I am happy making others happy at Leeds, which is, it's nice to hear, isn't it? It sounds genuine. From what I've got from Rafa so far, and we've seen him in interviews, and we've seen him celebrating. We saw him celebrating with Berardi. We saw him celebrating with Pablo the other day at the awards. You genuinely believe that he is fully invested within this squad, and it's a proper squad. It is a proper squad. You've heard that with Pablo. You've heard that with Gitano. When you get into this team, it really is a family. Pablo said it's the greatest team he's ever been involved with in terms of camaraderie. So you do feel straight away, even with people who he looks like he's close with, Helder Costa, Rodrigo, that Rafinha is straight away embedded into this setup, and the Leeds players are making him feel part of it, which is it's what Leeds is all about, isn't it? It's what One Leeds is all about, and that threads very nicely into the club. It's about community, it's about family, it's about a city. It doesn't just stop at the city, though, because not all Leeds fans are in Leeds. There are Leeds fans everywhere, and he will know that. He will be getting the feel of that wherever he goes, because he'll be adored if he continues this next season. His form is quite staggering, and he's only played for half a season. So that's very nice to hear. I think it's going to take a lot to prize him away from Leeds, from a moral standpoint and from a Leeds United standpoint. You know, we're going to get into the ownership in a little bit, but where we're going, where we're building as a club, as an establishment, as a brand, we need players like Rafinha. We really do. And I think with the changes in the board and the changes just generally around Leeds United, I think we're going to be able to afford to keep our prized asset. So, good bit of news there from Rafinha. Now, what should we move on to next? Gabriel Bondo, he's come out and he's backed Leeds to get the Rumour Pereira deal done. And he said 100%. Go on, Gabby, lad. There you go. Gabby Agbonlahor has backed Leeds to get the Pereira deal done. It's a position they need to strengthen, says Gabby. Anyway, moving on. Thank you, Gabby Agbonlahor, for that. Calcio Mercato, an Italian publication, have said that Leeds will place a bid for Nandez. Cagliari's Nandez. This is just absolutely continuing on the rumour mill, isn't it? It's spamming out every other day. And normally, as I always say on the rumour mill, there is no smoke without fire. Aside from Rodrigo de Paul. But listen, this guy does fit the mould. I never was convinced that Rodrigo de Paul fit the mould. A luxury player, not notoriously a grafter. Nandez is the complete opposite. 35 caps for Uruguay. And apparently last year, Leeds did make an offer, according to Calcio Mercato, for Nandez. Nahiti Nandez. Apparently Leeds did make an offer for him, which was knocked back. Leeds apparently will place a bid again. We're going to go in for him. Apparently Nandez is our man, according to this publication. He can play left wing, he can play right wing, he can play central midfield, he can play central attacking midfield. Listen, what do I always say? The big V is always key. Versatility. It's absolutely essential for any player to have these different compartments within their arsenal, within their artillery. Leeds United have to move forward with players who can plug gaps. We don't really like that square pegs, round holes sort of thing as a club. But notoriously, through Marcelo Bielsa's career, he's always had players within his small squad who can plug holes. It's always been the case. So I just don't see, at his age now, he's just going to change and get a huge squad of quality. And why would he? It's not... his blueprint works. You've seen his blueprint work at Leeds United, and that's not to say Nandez is going to be a sort of off player who's just going to plug gaps. This guy's the real deal. He's plugged up a lot of interest in Italy this year. He plugged up a lot of interest in Spain last year. Obviously, with the Spanish market as what it is right now, you're not going to get many clubs going in for Nandez, but Leeds are going to have the money. It's going to be at a reduced price from what it was last year. If Leeds have made a bid for him last year, it's very intelligent now for Leeds to go back in, because it's going to be at a much reduced price, especially for a Serie A team, may I add, who are not within that top four sphere. You know, a bid that goes in is probably going to be accepted. So keep an eye on that one. Ha 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 ha. Manchester United lost to Villarreal. How funny is that? Alfonso Pedraza won the European Cup last night with Villarreal over Manchester United. Manchester United lost last night on penalties. Rafa, come on, Rafa. We'll be winning that thing next year. Why do you want to go there? Or why? So you don't even want to go there. Why are the rumours linking you there? He's still not won a trophy. Well done, Alfonso Pedraza. Absolutely brilliant to see. And Manchester United can't win a cup under Ollie. There you go. But absolutely brilliant news for Pedraza. We're very, very happy for him here on one Leeds, of course. And the opponent that you beat last night just makes it extra sweet. Radrizzani, is he on his way out at Elland Road? Now, this is more an opinion. This is more a talking point. We know Radrizzani has been interested in Valencia, heavy interest in Valencia last summer, which essentially was confirmed by about 3 or 4 different outlets that Radrizzani would go in there if the option was there. You know, what he wants to do is build sort of a sporting group, a football group. You see it at Barnsley with Nice and other clubs globally. They have a sporting group. Brentford have a sporting group. So with Leeds United, it's going to be very, very interesting to see if Radrizzani is looking at other clubs. He's done a truly phenomenal job at Elland Road. And cheers to you, Andrea. But we know in football ownership that the time will come at some point. You know, he's not a Leeds fan. I think he's now indoctrinated into Leeds like everybody else does. But he's not a Leeds fan. There has been interest in other clubs. Clubs in his own country. Clubs in his own city, Milan. Now, the interesting fact about this is, with the 49ers on board, Parag Marath, you're seeing more of him. I mean, I saw him at the weekend when we were playing West Bromwich Albion, just walking about, casually saying hello to fans with Angus Kinnear. This is where it's going to be really interesting, because Pete Lowry, who is worth 4.3 billion, a lifelong Leeds United fan, literally could come in and buy Leeds without due diligence. He's that rich. The family is that rich. Australian could come in and just buy Leeds if he wanted to. It's interesting how he's come on board with the 49ers. Now, is this a long-term exit plan for Radrizzani, or is this just a business ploy? Is this just to get more assets on the board? Because obviously he's brought 2 more Italians on the board as well, but obviously they're not in the same stratosphere when it comes to wealth as Pete Lowry, and Pete Lowry is a long-term Leeds fan. For me, this is a view into the future. This is a view into the future, and this is why Radrizzani is such a special, special man. He won't just sell up and give it to whoever. He wants to know who they are. He wants to be in business with them, and whenever he does move on, he wants to pass the buck over to people who he trusts. So that's why he's brought them on the board with him right now, and I think that is truly magnificent. I do think this is a long-term exit plan for Radrizzani. I'd be very surprised if he was still here within 3 to 5 years. Very surprised. Just because I see Leeds maybe being taken over, as I've said, by the 49ers. And I think we're seeing them more. I think there's a really interesting public space around Parag Marath, where he's getting in our circle a little bit more in terms of media, which is huge, which Radrizzani will obviously know. And Pete Lowry now, there's a lot of articles on him. There's a lot of build-up around him with Leeds United. And I just see that as the future. 49ers with Pete Lowry and potentially other investors, businessmen on board, or just Pete Lowry, in partnership with 49ers, but Pete Lowry having an increased percentage, 70, 80% or whatever it's going to be. Regardless, Leeds United are going to be in an unbelievable position, and we are very, very lucky. We've always got to keep that in mind. I'm not for one saying, by the way, that he's going to leave, Radrizzani. I don't want him to leave, but it's interesting that this could be a long-term ploy, a long-term strategy. Get your comments in the section below about what you think about that one. What do we have finally? Now, the big one. Matheus Pereira of West Bromwich Albion. Hold your horses. Don't click off. Don't think, oh, it's clickbait. Hold on. Leeds United have made contact according to several reports. From Foot Mercato, the publication, his agent Jordan Vergetti has confirmed that both spoke after West Bromwich Albion's relegation and at the weekend. Now, this is interesting because Leeds are looking at someone like Pereira. There is no bones about it that Leeds United are looking for someone in that position. We know that, don't we? Now, the question is, would Leeds go for Matheus Pereira? The big indication for me was at the weekend. He was completely omitted from that side. And what was the reasoning? He was ill. Now, with him coming to Ellen Road, the final game of the season, final game against West Bromwich Albion, you would think, without anything to play for, their star man is probably going to start, He's probably going to start. Or even come on, even feature. Now, for me, he's leaving, Pereira. We know he's leaving. He's not a championship player. I love his work rate. I love his technical ability. I think he mixes graft with luxury, which is very rare. And being ill against Leeds United, I just didn't buy it. I didn't buy it. I just think he either didn't want to play, which, this whole Marcelo Bielsa ethos thing, would he fit into this Leeds United side if that is how he is? Fair point. Or was he in contact with Leeds United and Leeds didn't want him to play? Which, for me, would be a more logical standpoint. And allegedly, according to two reports, one being Foot Mercato, Leeds United have spoken to Pereira after the game and after West Bromwich Albion were relegated. Now, that's a very interesting thing to say. Yeah, Pereira was ill. Remember that. But there you go. The original line, Leeds have made contact to Jordan Vergetti, who is his agent. There you go. That's us done, isn't it? Okay, I hope you've got your news. Don't know why I do that every time. Hope you've got your news, that you've enjoyed it. Let me know in the comment section below exactly what you think. All the rumours that have been on the mill this morning. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Have a lovely day, guys. I'll see you tomorrow morning. Goodbye.